Hello, everyone. It's so good to feel like I'm in good enough shape to be able to engage with you all, even if it is just through video right now. Oh my gosh, these past weeks and months, your prayers, your cards have meant so much to me, and I appreciate them so much. I thank God for every card and every well wish that I've ever received. Um, the original sickness, the pancreatitis, the infected pancreas, the fluid, those have all pretty much cleared up. Although I still do have some fluid on my abdomen. But those months in hospital, of course, have had their effect on my health. And I'm still pretty weak. I go about my day, I take care of myself. I'm taking complete care of myself at home. I have to have people do my shopping for me, things that would take me out of the house. I need other people to do for me still because I can't afford to be out in public in any way right now. And I think this phase of recovery is probably going to take some more weeks. I'm hoping to be able to be at least partly active in the parish in January. Uh, we'll just have to wait and see how I'm doing by then. But it's good to share with you through this video today. And thanks again to Allison for helping out. So, an Advent reflection. I was sitting here in my chair last week, and I was absorbed in a book I was reading. And as I sat there, suddenly I heard coming from the kitchen a loud pop. At first, I thought, of course, I wasn't sure what it was. And sometimes when I hear a noise like that, it's just like a plate tilting in the dish rack or a book falling off of the desk or something. And for a few more seconds, I kept reading my book. I didn't want to even get up. But then I realized that sometimes when I hear a strange noise in the house, there is something wrong. Last week, a drain pipe in my washing machine had popped out, and there was water pouring onto the floor. And I got up to check that out. So I realized that I couldn't just sit around with this book. I had to go and see what this loud popping noise was. So I went to the kitchen. Well, it's a good thing I came out to the kitchen because here, some time ago, I had put some eggs on to boil, and I had been so absorbed in my book that the water had boiled completely down and the eggs were exploding in the pot. That wasn't too much of a problem, but if I had let it go much longer, who knows what would have happened to the pot or the stove or whatever it might be. So there are different kinds of waiting, and there are different kinds of ways of just kind of losing our attention to what's important. In the first reading from Sunday's readings, first of all, the people are described as being lost and wondering, and that's a kind of a waiting that is just not necessarily paying attention. I was all ready to just stay in my chair and assume that the popping noise was nothing important, and I was going to just let that go at first. Uh, but then I decided to get up and check it. So sometimes in our spiritual life, we begin to just kind of lose our attention. And it's a natural enough thing to do. We lose our attention to what's important and to what we should be paying attention to. But that first reading goes on to say that the people had gotten lost because they had wandered off, and they had wandered off through sin and selfishness. Sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes it's not just It's not just a distraction in the events of daily life, but we get distracted because of our own selfish interests and concerns. Something to pay attention to. I don't need to be super moralizing today, but it's something to pay attention to during this Advent time where Jesus says, watch, where Jesus says, pay attention. So, uh, our waiting can be a way uh, that we just kind of lose our attention. And we can also uh, have a period of time where we kind of make choices that can lead us away from the Lord and from what's really important. And the Lord keeps reminding us to pay attention to the things that will turn us away from Him. In the gospel, Jesus says, watch, pay attention. But in the gospel and in the story that Jesus tells in Sunday's gospel, he also says that the homeowner gave each servant a work to do. And so waiting doesn't just mean sitting around waiting. Watching doesn't just mean sitting around and waiting for something to happen. Uh, if I had just sat around waiting, the pot itself would have melted away on the stove. But rather, Jesus says, while we're waiting, we already still have work to do. Now, again, here a preacher could become kind of moralizing. Uh, we all have some work that we're supposed to be doing. And so go out and find the work that you're supposed to be doing. And I'm sure that many of you are really giving some serious thought to how to serve the Lord during this Advent season, and that's tough to do if we're taking this pandemic season seriously. If we're restricting our contacts with the outside world, if we're staying away from groups of people, we might feel that it's hard to we might feel that it's hard to find a way to do a work of service, to do a work of what we call outreach, uh, just because there's so many restrictions on us. But the time of Advent is a time to pay attention. We're waiting and watching, not just until something happens, but paying attention to those opportunities that come to us to be of service to others, to be of help to others, to be a blessing to those in need. We've just begun our season of Advent. The readings for each day, and especially the Sunday readings, will guide us. So, waiting can be a distraction. Waiting can actually turn us away from what's important, especially if we wander into a selfish kind of distraction, waiting for some kind of selfish gratification. So being watchful, being attentive, waiting is not just being passively waiting for something to happen. Waiting itself is active. Waiting is paying attention. Waiting is being ready for the opportunities that come to us, for our own spiritual growth, for our own spiritual edification, and especially for the ways that we can reach out to the wider world around us. So, God bless the beginning of Advent for each one of us and for each one of you. I know that the Lord has great things in store for you, great blessings for your spirit. And I know that the Lord has great things in store for you to be able to do for the sake of the kingdom and for the sake of others. Again, I wish I could see you while you're watching me. I miss you all so much. We pray for each other during this difficult time, and we pray for each other that this Advent season will be a time of blessing, and that when Christmas comes, no matter how different it will be from most Christmases, that it will be a time of great blessing and renewal in life for one another. God bless you, and I love you all. Bye bye.